This is the Turbo 350 we're using. We're going to be putting it in here. And so far, I mean, it looks pretty direct. There were some things that we were looking at with the kickdown cable. It didn't look like, I mean, this one's ridiculously longer and it's bolted further to the front of the transmission, so I was kind of worried about how this would fit onto the bracket that's already in the car and how long it'd be going to the throttle body, but it doesn't seem like it'll be a huge issue. He said that he's not too worried about it being operational since it has a shifter already. You can just go throw it down if you want to. We're going to start putting this thing in here and working with it. This is the shift linkage. It does go in here like this is how it will be whenever you see it probably. We're no longer going to be using this, so this just easily pulls out of the frame, and the other part of it is held in by a pin here. You can just get the pin out of there and rip it off, or break the pin off in there like I did and just pull it right off of there. Whichever works. I mean, you can just cut it off if you want. You're not going to be using it, so just get that out of the way. So far, the biggest thing we ran into, I'm sure there's more, but so far what we've done is we got the tranny onto the jack, because otherwise with the transmission sitting onto the jack it wouldn't roll into the car because it was too big. So what we had to do was set the tranny down, roll the tranny, like turn it, if this is the bell housing, roll it like that, and like scoop it up from underneath with the jack, and then shove the transmission on top of the jack to get it here. So if you're doing it on the floor, that is something that you might find useful. But yeah. So now we got all the bell housing bolts in. Next thing we're probably going to do is the torque converter bolts and double check that those line up. Now the torque converter bolts that are right here are not the same thread pitch as these that we found that actually fit in the torque converter, which are the same. Now the torque converter here is aftermarket, so maybe if you have a stock torque converter it may fit in there, but these ones do not work, so you may need another set of bolts. Also, if you are needing to use different bolts other than this, I would recommend also using Loctite to make sure they don't back out. Next thing you want to do is grab the kickdown cable and have a friend. It's usually the easiest way. I don't see your hand anymore.
Right here.
Oh, yeah. Right there. And try to feed it to him. Get it?
Yeah, has all the slack out of it?
Not yet. Alright, don't yank on it, because I'm going to get the tranny lines, or try to get the tranny line out from behind it.
Okay.
Or in front of it. Now the kickdown cable is fed from the tranny up to the top. Next thing you're probably going to want to do is go to your old transmission and get this bracket off that has the stud for the cross member. What size is that, Chase? And you just want to transfer that bracket to your new transmission. Alright, so the problem we've ran into now, we've moved this cross member back a bit just to support this while we have to make our next modification, but the stud right here doesn't line up with the cross member. So it's only about 2 inches off, 2.5, maybe 3, I don't know, we'll see. But the problem is the cross member won't slide any further forward because the frame has this section here. So we're going to cut probably about 2 inches, 2 to 3 inches off this section of the frame, just this little vertical part, just to be able to slide the cross member further forward and make our new holes for the cross member to bolt to. Alright, so the transmission kind of started moving that way, so we had to ratchet strap it and pull it straight to get the cross member to line up right. A lot of people seem to think that this will just bolt right in, you can just move the cross member, but you can't. We had to cut the frame right there and move the cross member about, I mean, don't go off these numbers, but about 2.25 inches forward to get the transmission mount to line up in the cross.
The reason why we had to move our cross member forward is Turbo 350s have 3 different tail shaft links. We have the shortest of the options. The middle option, we're supposed to just be able to move it back into a factory hole that's in the frame, and I'm not quite sure on the longest option, but you only have to move your cross member forward and drill new holes on the shortest tail shaft option. Our transmission came out of a 60s Nova, so that's probably why we're so short.
Makes sense. Alright, so what we've been working on is this shifter, because we're ditching the column shifter. So we went ahead and put this in here. You want to demonstrate, Chase?
Yeah. Reverse, neutral. Oh, there's neutral. And then all the way back to first, second, drive, neutral. It's got a reverse walkout, reverse, park.
It looks pretty decent.
Looks legit.
Yeah, it does. And we put a little bit of an angle on it, just so we had trouble with it. We didn't want to set it on the floor, and anywhere else it kind of felt like it was going to hit the seat, so we raised it up and angled it forward a bit. So first gear is, I mean, it looks really comfortable and it feels pretty comfortable. So that's something else you might have to do if you ditch the column shifter. I'm not sure how you'd use that, but this is definitely the easiest way to go. Alright, so as you can see, we got the shifter in. Going in through the carpet, over the tranny tunnel. Underneath we got it hooked up. And it's got a little bit of a curve to it, but that's pretty much it for the shift linkage. Alright, so pretty much all we got left to do is just hook up the kickdown cable and then we're done. We got the linkage up, we ran the vacuum line from the throttle body onto the receiver on the transmission. So it's pretty much done. The only thing I'll say is we need a new drive shaft and we just don't have it. So we're going to wait to get an extended cab drive shaft and get it cut down and balanced. So that'd be my recommendation if you're doing the swap in a short while. It's been a couple of days since the last video, but we're unloading the work truck. I don't know what's in this, so please
It's a fender.
handle with care.
Fender.
To reveal the drive shaft that we had to have made for this swap we're doing here. So alright, so now as you can see we got a drive shaft. This drive shaft is actually from a Ford. It is a, as you can see, we had to get different sized U-joints, and this drive shaft, the measurement of this is actually, it may vary for yours, so again you're gonna have to measure yours, not marry. This one measures 59.5 inches from the center of the U-joint to the center of the U-joint, so something to keep in mind. You're gonna have to measure yours. This is the first drive with the Turbo 350. So far it's moving, which is a good sign.
Shifting.
It's shifting. Yeah, that's a plus. It feels good.
And
We're only at 2,000
we're at $2,000. I'm in third. It doesn't have overdrive. 350s don't have overdrive, so this is probably normal.
Okay.
$700 Fords have overdrive.
All right. So that's about it. I hope this helped you get your swap done, or maybe just encouraged you to do one, because it's not really that difficult. But again, Thanks for watching. I hope this helped you out, and if you want to see more like this, be sure to subscribe.